Hey guys, here with Dr. K at the Longevity Center, and I got my blood work back. A lot to go over, and I am going to be very open with it because I want you to see the issues that I'm having and the things that he's going to help me fix. That's what they do here, which is pretty amazing. And I'm going to be very open about this, and because I know other people are suffering from a lot of similar stuff. I'm not ashamed of what I've done to myself over the years. We all have. Most of us have been there, especially have lived a fun life, for 50 plus years. So I'm going to let Dr. K jump in and kind of talk about my blood work and some of the good stuff, and then obviously the bad stuff and how we're going to fix it.
Yeah. So to give everyone the background, this is roughly 50 something tests. For those of you familiar with Function Health, it's a bit more than Function Health. So as far as I know, no one's pulling this much blood work. And the cool part is your insurance covered it.
Yeah, that is very cool.
So there's no upcharge for it. You just, insurance pays for it. And that's what's,
the
that's
ladies
the
at
whole point.
Quest were shocked. They're like, wow, you're not getting charged for this.
Yeah. So that's the magic.
Yes.
So it breaks down to 2 packets. We'll start with 1 packet. Okay. First thing we come to, we look at your iron levels, and your ferritin is low.
Okay.
So you have overall low iron.
Okay.
There's 2 ways to approach this. We can do oral iron or we can do IV iron.
Okay.
You can do oral iron. Your ferritin's 35. The problem is, you're only 3 points off from the bottom, but the range is from 38 to 380. You don't want to be 39 because then you're one wrong hamburger away from being anemic again. So we want to aim for like 200.
And I'm 51. Where should I be?
You want to be right in the middle.
About 200.
Yeah, your iron should always be good until the day you die.
Why do you think my iron is low?
Usually it's a gut absorption issue.
Okay.
If I go forward, you have candida in your gut, you've got some heavy metals, you've got a whole bunch of different problems, so you're probably having absorption issues.
Okay.
Also, you don't need a lot of meat, right?
No, I don't need any meat. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's probably the other part of it.
I'm vegan.
Plant-based mafia. Just start sprinkling iron into your food.
Okay.
So if you go on oral, you can do it. It'll take you from 6 to 12 months to get your iron levels all the way back up. You're taking iron every day. I don't like it because it can cause GI upset in a lot of people. Gut, stomach pains, constipation, diarrhea, stuff like that. The other option is IVs. Typically, you need between 3 and 6 IVs. Okay. What I always recommend is you do 3 IVs, and then you retest your iron. If it's normal, you're done. If it's not normal, you might need 3 more.
And how long will that? Is that something I have to do every year?
No, it's something we keep an eye on. I think as we clean you out, we probably need to get you on iron supplements as well, but like not every day. Maybe once a week you take an iron supplement just to keep you going. Okay. But because right now we have an uphill battle to get you back to normal. Once you're normal, it's much easier to maintain.
Okay. Get to normal, then maintain.
Yep. So.
Okay.
Okay. The next thing we come to is your glucose is high. You were fasting when you did this, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So your glucose is high. It's 123. I like to see it under 100.
Yeah.
So probably some degree of glucose intolerance, insulin resistance. We're going to get to your A1C further down, which is a much basically better result. So we'll table that. We'll circle back to it. Okay. Your potassium's also a little low. Are you chronically potassium deficient?
I think I have been for years, but I am on a potassium supplement right now for my cardiologist.
Yep.
So I'll have to retest in 2 weeks for that to see where it's at.
Okay. Yeah, then that's pretty much all we can do, unfortunately, for potassium is just get you on the potassium supplements. Okay. So your kidney function, your GFR is 95. That's awesome. Okay. GFR is basically 0 to 100. How well your kidneys filter. 100 or higher is perfect. Yeah. So you're 95, it's like an A. Not an A plus, but it's an A.
All right, great.
Okay.
Some good news.
Yeah. There's some good news in here. Okay. So we look at your liver function, your AST and your ALT are both normal. Your magnesium in your blood is excellent.
Beautiful. Okay. I'm on a magnesium supplement daily.
Yep. Perfect. It's working. So we look at GGT, amylase, lipase. That's kind of like your liver, gallbladder, and pancreas. Excellent there. Okay. Your zinc levels are normal. Your selenium is normal. Your iodine is borderline, and I don't like that.
Okay.
So I'd recommend you do a course of an iodine supplement.
Okay.
Okay. So I can recommend a supplement. I'm a big fan of upgraded formulas,
Okay.
or if you have a different stuff,
No,
iodine,
whatever you
yeah.
recommend.
So, okay. Let's see. So lipoprotein little a, it's one of the cardiovascular risk markers.
Yeah.
We test like 12 different ones. On that one, you're good.
Yeah. Okay.
Your white blood cell count is marked a little elevated. Your neutrophils are super high. You
And
know
what
why
are
that
those?
is?
No, I have no idea.
It's an immune marker. It's a type of white blood cells. We did EBOO pretty close to doing this.
Yes.
EBOO can artificially spike it.
Okay.
So that's where that's coming from. It's from EBOO.
Okay. Okay.
So nothing to worry about.
Okay.
Okay. We looked at your pro-insulin. Your pro-insulin is extremely high. So you are extremely insulin resistant.
Okay.
Okay.
So we need to work on that.
That's, yes. The way we work on insulin resistance, we eat high protein, we weight lift 3 to 4 times a week, and we get started on berberine. You know what berberine is?
Yeah. Yeah.
So for those that don't know, berberine, it basically lowers glucose in your body. So when you take it right at the start of every meal, it keeps your glucose from spiking. So it gives your pancreas a break.
Now I am also on metformin, which is all new. This is all new.
Yep.
So can I take the berberine with the metformin?
Absolutely.
Okay.
The one thing I'll warn you about, if you snack throughout the day, if you're going to eat the cookies, and I'm a big proponent of meeting people where they are. If I tell you never to eat cookies, again, you're just not going to listen. Yeah. If you're going to eat cookies, you eat them immediately after dinner. You don't wait 2 hours. Okay. What that does is it controls your glucose spike into one spike instead of multiple.
Gotcha.
Okay, it gives your pancreas more of a break and lets the berberine control the glucose throughout that whole course.
Okay. Well, I've been good now, so like I've been really clean.
Good.
So I'm like not snacking. I'm not doing anything. No gluten.
Yep.
There's no sugar, no added sugar. Being very, very clean.
Perfect. Okay. Next thing we come to, and I'm actually really surprised by this. Your MTHFR, you have no gene variants, the mother effer gene. You're not genetically variant, which is super surprising because you do have heavy metals. Okay. But nothing to do about that. Just be happy.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Your AM cortisol is low. This test was drawn at 7:49 in the morning, correct? Yeah. Your cortisol should be right around 20.
And mine's at 1.9?
Yeah.
Wow.
So you are in most likely stage 4 adrenal fatigue. Okay. We have 2 options right now. We could do a Dutch test, which looks at your 24-hour cortisol. Okay. And then we could treat it, or we could just assume that that's correct and just do adrenal reset program.
Okay. And what does that entail?
So I came up with this myself. So it's 3 supplements: it's ashwagandha, drenatrophin, okay, which is adrenal cortex, and melatonin.
So basically over-the-counter drugs.
Yeah, they're supplements.
Okay. Beautiful.
So what that does, when you're in adrenal fatigue, adrenals are kind of like a sponge, right? Yeah. Your body drips hormones on them throughout the day, and when you need a cortisol response, your body squeezes your adrenals, cortisol comes flooding out. Yeah. As you squeeze them harder and harder, they start to run dry. So when you take things like ashwagandha to try and boost your adrenals, they're squeezing your adrenals harder. Yeah. So we can't take just ashwagandha. Yeah. And then if we take just glandular adrenal, we shut down your production of cortisol because your body says, well, more's coming and I don't need it, similar to when you take testosterone. Yeah. So when we combine both, it preserves your function and starts to refill your adrenals. So over about 3, this is one of the lowest I've seen, probably about 6 months, you're going to reset your adrenals. Okay. And I would assume a lot of people probably are in adrenal issues. Yes. That's a huge thing in America because everyone's overworked, overstressed. Yep. So this is good. This is good information for anyone who's listening. You know, if you think fatigue, tired, brain fog. It's like you're just stuck in like this anxiety, but you can't get the energy to actually do anything. So you're just anxious and not able to do anything about it. That's adrenal fatigue. And if they want to get that test to check for their adrenals, it's this cortisol test. Yep. And the C-peptide or no? No, C-peptide's unrelated. That's okay. All right. So cortisol, check it. Yep. C-peptide has to do with insulin. Okay. So it's another one. Your body's making more insulin than it should. Okay. It has to do with insulin resistance. And that will also balance out with weight loss. Yes. I'm about 100 pounds overweight. Yes. And I'm down from like 375 to about 300. Yep. But I really need to be like low 2s, high hundreds. High hundreds would be ideal. Yeah. How tall are you? 5'7". Let's aim for 175 to 180.
Yeah, I mean, I would think so.
That's gonna be your ideal goal.
Yeah. So like even so, you're talking like 115, 125 pounds. I get down even 50. We're going to see my insulin levels drop.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Next thing we come to is your cardiovascular markers.
Yeah.
Your apolipoprotein A1 and B. So A1 is optimal. B is a little unoptimal, non-optimal. That's the most important one is B.
Okay.
So you're not horrible, but you're in the moderate range.
So it should be below 90,
I'd
and
like
I'm
it
at
below
102.
90. Yep.
Okay.
The other thing is you have just overall inflammation.
Yeah.
Fibrinogen is up, so that's more inflammation.
What does that mean? What is fibrinogen?
It's just another inflammatory protein.
Okay.
And then your homocystine's up. Homocystine's specifically cardiovascular inflammation.
Yeah.
So while you don't have like plaque or arteriosclerosis, you just have inflammations hitting your heart.
So this is showing I don't really have plaque?
You don't have much plaque. It's mostly just inflammation that you're carrying.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, though, too. I know we're going to get to it, but I do have Epstein-Barr, and those markers are off the table, off the charts. And everything I've been reading is that Epstein-Barr can cause inflammation in the artery walls. Is that correct?
Yes.
So that's probably what's going on. That's probably one of the things that are really, because this is all new.
Yep.
Like I've been checking my inflammation markers since I had my stents going back 10 years. And for the last 9 years, they're perfect.
Yep.
About a year and a half. And about a year and a half ago, I was diagnosed with Epstein-Barr.
It could very well be the Epstein-Barr. It causes a lot of inflammation, a lot of brain fog, a lot of fatigue. It could also be what's crushing your adrenals.
Yeah, and that's what I have every day.
Yep.
Also, and I don't sleep.
Yeah.
I don't sleep well. All right.
Okay. Last thing, your vitamin D is 40. Is
that good?
No.
Oh.
Vitamin D is 0 to 100. So
I literally take 10 to 15,000 IU of vitamin D every single day, and I'm in the sun every day.
You're probably not absorbing it. Are you taking it with K?
Yeah.
Which one are you taking?
With K, with magnesium. I take something called Concentrate K, which is a supplement from this doctor who like reversed his heart disease, and he invented it. I could show it to you. Yeah. It's like I don't know. I'll show it to you. You tell me what you think. Maybe I have to use a different.
We may have to end up switching brands.
Okay.
Okay. And I believe that Quest does a silly thing. They do like the same results over and over for like 4 pages. So I think we're done with this packet.
Okay.
Oh, there's your A1C. Actually, your A1C is 6.2, so you are pre-diabetic.
And where should it be?
5.4 or lower.
5. And that's the type 2 diabetes or pre-diabetic. That's the one thing that's actually reversible.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
And type 1 diabetes, no, but type 2 and type 3, which they're calling Alzheimer's now, pretty reversible. So this is good. This is like, it's not bad news. It's good news, especially because I'm in the...
We're giving you answers.
Yeah, and these are all fixable things. Now this is the good stuff.
This is packet number 2. This is where the heavy stuff is.
Yeah.
Okay. So first thing, cytomegalovirus. You've never had it. You don't have titers to it. Whatever.
What is that?
It's a virus. It's a cousin to Epstein-Barr.
Okay.
If it's reactivated, it's quite nasty, but you don't have it.
Good.
Okay. Now you do have heavy metals in your blood: arsenic, mercury, and lead. So, yeah, you got all 3. So here's what's fun. Your mercury, for example, it says your mercury's 5.
Yeah.
Quest considers normal to be less than 10.
Yeah.
But if you put on your common sense hat, what should your mercury in your blood be?
Probably 0.
You should have no mercury in your blood. It's not a good thing. You don't want that.
Yeah.
Same thing for the arsenic. They say 23 is normal, but we should have 0 arsenic in our blood.
Yeah.
So having heavy metals in their blood means one of 2 things. It's either an acute recent exposure. The other thing is your tissue is so saturated that it's starting to leach back into your blood.
Okay.
Okay.
And you're going to, when we do the urine analysis, you're going to even get a better gauge.
So what we're going to do is what's called a urine provocation test.
Yeah.
That's where we compare baseline urine to, we give you chelation and monitor your urine to see how much heavy metals you pee out that's trapped inside your tissue.
Okay.
Okay.
That's fun.
Yeah. Now we go to page 2. Your testosterone is 159.
Yeah, that's really low.
That's really, really bad.
Where should it be?
800.
Damn. Is my estrogen levels high?
Let's flip forward and see. See here somewhere. Your DHT is low. Where do they hide estrogen? Your estrogen's 28. So no, your estrogen's good.
Okay. So that's good.
Your DHEA is low.
And what is that?
DHEA, it's basically a precursor to testosterone estrogen, which tells your body to make more. So we can upping your testosterone or upping your DHEA can raise your testosterone itself by 10 to 20%.
Okay.
Which, unfortunately, in your case, is only 15 points.
Yeah, which is nothing.
Okay. So we've got to get you on hormone replacement.
And all of these markers are testosterone
Yes.
free.
So what we measure is, so your free testosterone should be roughly 10% of your total.
Okay.
Yours is 20% because your body's desperately trying to use everything it can.
Okay.
But you're still really low. So we've got to get you on replacement.
And I think it's shocking. It's that low, but I'm pretty shocked though too that I have really solid energy through the day. If I go to the gym, I still lift pretty heavy weights.
Yep.
So I mean, that's a pretty good sign.
Imagine how good you're going to feel once we get your testosterone back.
Yeah, I can't wait.
So the way we do testosterone, so we're going to start you on shots twice a week.
Okay.
I don't believe in once a week shots because it creates a spike like this. But I like twice a week because it's a little bit more flat and stable.
Okay.
And at 30 days, we're going to recheck your hormones.
Okay.
Okay.
Sweet.
So testosterone.
And how long does it typically take if you're doing 2 shots a week after?
To stabilize your testosterone? I'm going to be a little bit more aggressive with you because you're so low. You might be good within a month. And
then after that, is it just like maintenance, or we just
stay on it, yeah? And we just check every 3 months to make sure you're doing good.
Now, is there a side effect to that where my body stops producing testosterone? So I've heard those stories too, and people are going to certainly be curious about that.
There's 2 answers to that. One, what testosterone you're making?
Yeah, not much.
So we have really, in your case, we have nothing to lose right now.
Yeah.
Because you're not. If you're like 400 and we're trying to get you higher, then that's one thing. You're at 159, you're basically making nothing.
Yeah.
That's the first problem. Second thing is we can actually put you on gonadorelin. It's a peptide that helps to preserve testosterone production.
Okay.
So we can add gonadorelin as well. Okay.
Okay.
Perfect. 3, your T3, so your TSH is a little low, but it's on the lower side of normal.
What's TSH?
Thyroid stimulating hormone.
Okay.
Your T4 is good, but your T3 is low. I think you're having a bit of a conversion issue.
Okay.
I'd like to see your iodine come up higher.
Okay.
That might fix it. We might have to get more aggressive down the road. But I want to see your iodine correct itself before we jump down that. So we'll recheck your thyroid when we recheck your testosterone.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm excited to get to the Epstein-Barr stuff.
Yeah. So I think that's next. Okay.
More testosterone stuff.
Yeah, your DHT is low, but that'll correct
itself. This will all fix itself with the protocol.
Yep.
Now I've seen this pop up on a few
protein
tests.
In your urine.
Yeah.
Which means it's in the herpes family.
Yeah.
Which means it sticks around for forever, and it can flare up when you're stressed, when your immune system gets suppressed, similar to any other strain of herpes.
And isn't it true? Like I've been reading so much on this. It's like 90% of the population has Epstein-Barr.
95% have had mono. Not everyone has it reactivated.
Yeah.
But 95% of adults have had mono.
So that's what Epstein-Barr is technically, right? It's like the kissing disease.
Yeah, exactly.
And you can get it from just sharing a soda with someone.
Technically, yes.
Yeah, that's crazy. And then you could pass it on to someone, just like you go on a date and you have a quick kiss at the end of the night.
Yep.
If you're activated, you could pass it on to someone.
So when you're reactivated, you're not as contagious.
Okay. Not as contagious, yeah.
They basically jury's still out if you are or not contagious.
Okay.
I don't think people are all that contagious, but there's, some people say yes you are, some people say no you're not. I don't think you're that contagious.
Yeah, and it's a pretty dangerous virus if it goes on. There's Hashimoto's. It could lead to cancer, MS, right?
Exactly.
Lupus.
So short term, it causes a lot of inflammation, a lot of brain fog, a lot of fatigue. Left untreated for about 10 plus years, it can cause lymphoma of the jaw, called Burkitt's lymphoma, and then it can cause autoimmune issues like Hashimoto's for the thyroid, like lupus, generalist inflammation.
Yeah.
Okay, so the way I treat it is we do EBOO.
Yeah.
Usually 3 to 5 EBOOs knocks it down when we do them consistently.
Okay.
But you're so high in heavy metals, I'm suspecting based on your blood test, I want to focus on that first, actually.
Okay.
Get down your heavy metals so that your immune system starts to function better.
Okay.
And then we'll have an easier time knocking down your Epstein-Barr.
I think too, like probably so many people, especially in my age category, are probably so high in heavy metals.
I think I have confirmation bias here. Because I get a lot of negative tests. It's just the people that come see me and have high heavy metals,
Yeah.
there's something wrong, and they've been through every test possible through the traditional system. It's all
Yeah.
come back negative. So I'm just looking for something that no one else is.
Yeah. And then you see that, and then you find that.
Yep.
Yeah. I think if you go through the entire gamut of tests, and the doctors can't, traditional doctors or whatever you want to call them, can't, you come to a holistic doctor, someone who's doing the type of work that Dr. K is doing, that's going well above the standard doctor. You come to a doctor like Dr. K, and he's going to break it down. Like I don't get these many tests when I go to my regular primary. It's like 8 tests, and they're like, "You're healthy."
Yeah.
It's like, no, I'm not.
Yeah, and look at all these things that have been missed.
Yeah, and 100%. Nobody. I have a lot of friends that come and talk to me about blood work and what should I do, and I'll tell them, start with the standards. Like, I already got that. Everything looks good. I'm like, well, then you got to go to someone like Dr. K, where you're going to get 40 vials of blood drawn. And they're like, but this is what we have to do. This is the new era of healing. It is what it is.
Yep.
Yeah.
We should use science to our advantage.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay. Your prostate's good. 0.3 on the PSA. Excellent.
That's good.
That's good news.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
We get touches of good news. Okay. You have candida in your gut. So there's IgG, IgA, IgM. IgG means chronic infection. IgA looks at mucosal tissue, which is your GI tract. And IgM is an acute recent infection. Your biggest issue is you have candida in your gut. So the way candida survives in the body, and they've studied this, it binds to heavy metals to survive. As long as you're high in heavy metals, it's really hard to get rid of the candida.
Yeah. It's funny because I've been hearing about candida cleanses forever. I've never done it.
Yeah. You can do it.
Yeah.
And you have candida back in 3 months.
Yeah.
Because you have something for it to bind to, mercury, lead, arsenic.
You don't clear out the root cause.
Yeah.
And I know Epstein-Barr feeds off of the heavy metals too.
Or
that's what I've been reading.
No, the big ones for heavy metals are parasites and molds.
Okay.
Epstein-Barr, just heavy metals suppress your immune system. Epstein-Barr takes advantage of that.
Gotcha. Okay.
Okay. Your ANA is negative. That's autoimmune testing.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. Okay. And then this is, so myeloperoxidase and ADMA and SDMA. These are more, so the ApoBs, those are more like arteriosclerosis. This is more inflammation. So it's just pointing more and more you have cardiovascular inflammation.
So usually, right now I look pretty good with like plaque buildup.
Yep.
You're confident. I'm not suffering from any major plaque buildup, but the inflammation is there.
Yeah.
And if I don't take care of it now, and I have stents. I have 4 stents put in 10 years ago.
Yeah.
So I guess it's and I had massive plaque buildup 10 years ago. So I must have been doing something right over the last 10 years.
You've gone vegan.
Yeah.
That's probably a big part of it.
Predominantly plant-based, doing all the inflammatory stuff.
Yep. So now we just have to get your inflammation down, which that we can do.
Yeah.
That's actually easier to deal with because we can get arteriosclerosis down as well. We have IVs for that, but it's a process.
Yeah. One step at a time.
Yeah.
All right. So
I believe that's the end. This is the same stuff again.
Yeah.
And the same stuff again.
Yeah.
They like to repeat the results over and over. That's it.
So in your thoughts, like this isn't great, but it's also not terrible. It's not
so
like
there's
I have
nothing
stage
here.
4 cancer.
No, there's nothing here we can't deal with within 12 months.
Yeah. And between a clean diet, exercise, and then hitting these with these strategies that you have, I'm going to be able to reverse these pretty easily.
Exactly.
Just as long as I stick to it, and this is for everybody.
Yep.
And there's a lot of people probably in my age range that are overweight. They partied hard through their years. They've had a lot of fun, and they're probably dealing with all very similar stuff.
Yep.
So this is the guy you have to come see. Longevity Center in West Palm Beach. If you are dealing with fatigue, brain fog, you're tired, you're overweight, you probably have gut issues. You probably have low T. A lot of people, you probably see a low T with a lot of men who are overweight. What's the if you get a guy who's like 40 to 60, a little overweight, doesn't really take care of himself, what are the kind of the common things, common denominator?
In what sense?
Like
What do you mean?
health-wise, what are the things that you see when you start testing?
Usually the cortisol is off, so they usually have adrenal fatigue. Yeah, usually the hormones are off. Testosterone's our primary driver hormone. So
Yeah,
when it's low, you don't want to do anything. Um, Occasionally some of the minerals are off, like iodine or selenium or
sure.
magnesium. Heavy metals aren't super common. Occasionally we do get the cardiovascular, the apolipoprotein B, the cholesterol, stuff
Yeah.
like that's up. That's the common stuff.
And if you have a guy who's like 50,
Mhm.
40, 50, whatever, he's have a hard time losing weight,
Yep,
cortisol and testosterone plays a big role, right?
huge.
Yeah.
That's probably a big part of why you can't lose weight.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy.
Mhm.
All right. Well, you want to just give him a quick summary of like what our protocol is going to be and
Yeah.
like the time it's going to take?
So we've got 13 points right here for you. So your iron's low, so we're going to fix that with either oral or IV.
Okay.
Your iodine's low, so we're going to replace that with oral. Your proinsulin is up. Your A1C is up, so we're going to get you on berberine to control your glucose spikes. Your cortisol is super low, so we're going to run the adrenal reset program for 6 months. Your homocysteine, your CRP, your fibrinogen are up. That's your overall inflammation. That goes in hand with your cardiovascular inflammation, your myeloperoxidase, your ADMA, your SDMA, and your Epstein-Barr. So we're going to get some EBOO, drain that inflammation off you. You have high heavy metals, so we're going to focus on that, get those down. That'll also decrease inflammation, start to boost your immune system. Your vitamin D, I've got to look at the supplement you're taking and see if you want to change it. We're going to get you started on testosterone replacement. We're going to recheck your thyroid in about a month, see how it's doing, see if things are changing. Your Epstein-Barr we talked about. Your candida, we're going to focus on heavy metals first and then get rid of the candida down the road.
Okay. And what once we get all that ironed out with the candida, what would be the course of action
For which one?
for the candida?
So truthfully, if we remove your heavy metals, about half the time the candida goes away on its own. The other half we have to use an antifungal like fluconazole or itraconazole.
Okay. This is exciting. I think more than anything, we have an answer.
Yeah.
And we have an answer, we have information, and we have a solution.
Yep.
And that's what I've been watching so many videos from people just like I don't have a solution.
Yep.
The regular doctor just doesn't tell them, anything. And they don't do any of these testings whatsoever.
That's most of my patients. They say there's something wrong, but all my blood work is negative. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's how most patients find me.
And we've done EBOO twice now,
Yep.
and my inflammation was like
you've put out a lot both times.
Yeah, pretty on the much higher end, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so I'm like excited to get it done third time. So we're thinking like five EBOOs.
It may end up being that. I have to see your heavy metals, and we're going to work EBOOs into your heavy metal plan.
Yeah, and we're going to be doing EBOO next week, I believe, with a heavy metal. Start the heavy metal testing. Correct?
Perfect. That sounds like a plan.
All right, Doc. Let's get me healthy and
absolutely.
For all my everyone watching, all my people that come to Plant Based Mafia, if you feel like you're dealing with any of these issues, like come and see Dr. K, Longevity Center, West Palm Beach. What's your address?
580 Village Boulevard, Suite 210.
Yeah, phone number?
561-210-4033.
And what I love about here is like your people actually care. And I'm not trying to sell him. Go wherever you want. But his people actually care. They like call us up. How are you doing? How are you feeling? All right, we got to get in here to check your results. Like they care. It's not just, I've been to other, holistic clinics and it's like, do this. And then like, they don't call me. Like you text me, like what's going on, so that to me is a big, big difference. And, I have my restaurant, we're building it, we're expanding. And like, I'm not going to introduce people, my clients, my customers to people I don't trust. So this is like, I'm building a longevity partnership as we start to expand and grow and franchise all over the country. We want to have these longevity partners that our customers could trust. We're working with them. So, you can. And Dr. K is expanding and he wants to expand over the country. So he's going to be part of our longevity team. So this is the guy to trust. If you're a customer of mine and you are feeling these things, come in and see this guy. As a matter of fact, when we walked in, one of your clients outside was like, I saw you on one of your videos.
That's so funny.
Yeah. So she was like, I'm so excited about this. She said, I finally have answers.
Yep.
And she, you know, she was a little bit older, so you could tell that she's been to a lot of doctors.
Mm.
And to feel, I think she even made a comment like I'm like I was crying. You know, she said I was crying.
Yeah.
So I effing finally have an answer. So I
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Yeah,
Thank you and all the
absolutely.
work that you do.
Yeah, thank you.
All right.